Praise the Lord, my brothers and sisters. So, number one, I want you guys to know that I am banned on Facebook, but we've still been traveling. You can check my Instagram, Marcus Rogers, Child of the King. We will be going to Atlanta this week. But I had a dream the other night, man, and it really just, man, it was very disturbing. And I had to get up and pray. And even when I told my brother about the dream, the tears just began to fall down my face, because I really believe that, as we said, that as the temperature has increased, the spiritual activity has increased, and it's both good and bad. People are having dreams and visions. There's revival. There's a lot of things that is happening, and the enemy is upset. And we are at a very critical point, especially in America, with everything that's going on. And even, interestingly enough, when I left to go to Vegas to do this revival, my team, I have a guy from Baltimore, we're from Chicago, and I have a guy from Virginia that comes with me. And while we were in Vegas preaching, there was an explosion in Baltimore near my friend's wife's house. And in Virginia, there was an earthquake that was random, a strong one too. And then in Chicago, all that violence broke out to the point where they had to shut the city down. So, the enemy is definitely upset. But I want to share with you guys this dream. So in the dream, I was in this building. It almost looked like a college. And at the beginning, I just saw like this demonic army. Like they were humans, but they were demons. Some of them looked like some of these Chicago rappers that I've seen. And they had their, shirts off, but they had like these army fatigues on in the pants. And they were just like violent and aggressive. And I could see like they were in a barracks, and there was like these bodies that were just tore up. I mean, it was just very gory, very just violent. And they were celebrating. And then there was these women who were also demonic, like seductress, and they were partying with these people. And it was like they were rejoicing over the bodies that they had tore limb from limb. And so I walked into this room, and it was like, kind of like when kids are waiting on detention. And I walked past these individuals, and one of them, I remember he had like dreads, and he had like these big muscles. He had the army fatigue pants on, no shirt on. And I walked past him, and the Lord was like, leave. And I sat down, and then he got up. He said, I'm gonna show you something. And when he got up in my face, he said, I'm gonna show you something. I saw like bodies being ripped apart and all kinds of violence, man. I mean, violence. And I got up and I started walking down the stairs. And here's a very interesting thing. When I was walking down the stairs, it's like everything slowed down. And this white woman, all right, she had a very like short haircut, more like a man's haircut. She had this green outfit on, a pantsuit. And she kind of looked at me sideways, and she turned her head. And she was looking at me, and in the spirit, I could feel she was saying, why haven't you bowed down? Why can't we get you to bow down? But then it was like she was also saying that we got something coming for you. Like I could feel that in the spirit, and it was so demonic. And she was a member of, obviously, the LGBTQ, and she was also a professor in the school. And that was, and I could tell that me and her had a previous interaction where I had stood up against what she was trying to teach in the college. But it's almost like, I got something for you, the way that she looked at me. Like, yeah, you're a problem, but you're not gonna be a problem much longer. And I walked down the stairs, and some of my family members came in. I said, hey, we gotta go. And so we had a little discussion. And then we went outside, and I was by myself. And there was just these demonic spirits grouped up in like sixes. And they were just running around, just torment, violence, stabbing people, blood everywhere. But it was like a spiritual thing. And they had military uniforms on. And I was just looking around, and they were just so angry. But it was like they were angry, but they were enjoying the destruction that they were causing. Buildings, being burnt down, all kinds of stuff. And I saw them stabbing these young black men. And that same demon guy that I saw, like with the big muscles, he was like a very strong one. I mean, it was like, I think in the dream, the Lord allowed me to see like he had these huge muscles because he was a strong demonic force, right? And he said, we've got to kill all the fathers that are trying to be fathers. All the fathers that are trying to do the right thing and father, he said, we got to kill them, right? And so it was like, I walked into, it almost looked like a church setting, like an auditorium, and there was two fathers next to me, and they were African American. And then there was another one, and he kind of had like and I hate to say it like this, but this is what it was. He had like that kind of, gangster rapper kind of look to him, right? And so while these guys are getting ready to sit down, that strong demonic thing came over and just started stabbing them in the back of the neck, stabbing them all in the back, and they were bleeding like all over the place. And then the guy, like, I don't know if I had invited him to church or something. He was excited to be there, and he came to sit down, and he had a son in his hand. And before he could sit down, that dude with the dreads, that strong demon came up and just started stabbing him like crazy. And he dropped his son, and it was like his son fell in slow motion into my arms. And it was like I knew that God was saying I had to protect this kid. The enemy took the father out. And that's what we've been talking about, trying to do with Kingdom Kids. And I got most of the details down, and I'm working on what exactly I'm gonna put in these boxes and stuff. So y'all just keep praying for me, man. But this vision, this dream was so, I don't know, man. It bothered me so much in my spirit. I woke up and I began to pray and I began to weep. And the Lord was telling me that a lot of the things that many of us are doing is going to make the kingdom of darkness mad. The devil doesn't care about people just going to church just to go to church, and church people being around church people, and church people preaching to church people. He's concerned with people that are going into the dark places and the high places and tearing down those kingdoms and exposing the works of darkness. And so there will be resistance. It almost felt like God was showing me the enemy was going to try to intimidate me, or try to, intimidate us who are fighting against the kingdoms of darkness. And so we've got to be aware. We got to pray. There's no way that we can make it in our own strength. All right, the only way you're going to make it is through having a prayer life, having a real relationship with God by the grace of God, letting him empower you, letting him cover you, letting him lead and order your steps. Because I'm telling you what I saw, I wish that I could make a movie of what I saw so you could see it, how angry they were at what was going on. They were just tearing people from limb to limb and rejoicing every time they tore somebody up. And I said, man, God is calling the kingdom to really come against the kingdom of darkness. Not all this stuff where people are just talking. People just talking about church, talking about revival, talking about power. There is kingdoms of darkness there. And here's the crazy thing. When we were in Vegas, man, demons were getting cast out, and it was violent. Demons were getting cast out in their service. And after I had that dream, it was the same morning that I woke up and saw that Chicago had been shut down because the violence had got so bad downtown, and they were shooting, between the police and, different individuals. And I said, man, we got to just be praying up. I believe that, yes, we'll see, little riots and things like that as we get closer to the elections, but I believe that it's more so a spiritual thing, this demonic rising and backlash and violence. There's going to be attacks in the spirit against people's mind, against people's families, against people's homes, and we just got to stay prayed up and stay close to Jesus. So hey, I got a lot of things going on. You can try to keep up www.marcusrogersministries.org. We're working on so many things. I'm so busy, I hardly sleep, guys. So just pray. We're coming to Atlanta this week. And then in next couple weeks, we'll be in Texas and California. So just be, if you haven't followed me on Instagram, Marcus Rogers, Child of the King, that's where I post the flyers and things. It's hard to post that stuff here on YouTube. And I'm banned on Facebook for 30 days, but I'll still be going live from my public figure page. Go follow Mama Rogers and the Kingdom Arc YouTube page for your children. And I have another backup YouTube page that I will share as well. I forgot what I call it right now, but I love you guys. Be blessed, be encouraged in Jesus' name.